Hi there, and welcome to Leadershipisation, all things leadership. My name is Beth Berghan, and I am a global leadership and communication coach. My jam is to help executives and managers and business owners build their influence through the development of their leadership and communication skills. And so that what they can do is lead a cohesive team. What they can do is drive the results. And ultimately, they'll also be able to increase their visibility, probably in their own organization, definitely in their own organization, I should say, and potentially in their industry. And I am here live most Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, which is 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, Sydney or Melbourne. Now, I'm wondering, have you ever noticed that lately busy has really become a badge of honor? Have you noticed that more and more exhaustion is kind of accepted because, yeah, that's just some evidence that you've been working really hard? And maybe you're someone who's begun to experience that this feeling of overwhelm is actually the norm. Well, I'm here to tell you that chaotic leaders create chaotic teams. So, what I want us to look at today is how we can unlearn some of those patterns and how you can become a much more grounded and effective leader through that kind of leadership. I want you to be looking to lead with real capacity instead of looking to lead with chaos. Because what I know is that if you can do this, things will absolutely change for you. So I've got 7 topic areas that we're going to have a look at today. And the first one is this: there's a real cult around being busy. Busy becomes like a status symbol in all areas of your life. What have you been doing? Oh, I've been really busy. And so, what can happen is we can actually fall into that pattern, that habit, that need to have the status symbol where we're so busy being that we're not necessarily being productive because we're busy being. We're just doing stuff. And what you need to be asking yourself is, in all this busyness, are the outcomes that I'm looking for actually being achieved? And if you are leading in chaos, then what happens is that no one can actually be very sure about what is expected. But when they look at you, they see that you're being really busy. So, as we'll discover as we go through today, they'll just be really busy too, which does not necessarily mean that they're being productive. The second point for us to be aware of is that chaotic leadership has a cost. What happens is that you and your leadership, you become reactive. You suffer from emotional exhaustion. The team begins to get overwhelmed because they can see that you're overwhelmed and you're shifting your focus all the time over here, over there, over here. And what happens is that that becomes really paralyzing because you can't make a decision in your chaos, or you keep taking everyone off in those other directions. Now, when that kind of thing is happening, trust goes down. When this is what is happening and you're leading in chaos, clarity goes down. When you're leading in chaos, performance goes down because without clarity, you don't have accountability. As I said before, and this is the third point, activity doesn't always equate to the impact that you're actually making. When you are busy being busy, you might be feeling as though you're doing a whole lot. But the question I have for you is, are you actually making a difference? Is your team actually making a difference? What you need to be doing is focusing on work that moves the outcomes. Because activity, if you look at your team and they all seem to be busy doing things, activity equals effort and busyness. So there is some activity going on. If they're doing things, if they're outputting, that's awesome. That's what they're doing. However, the thing that you need to be measuring on is not activity, not outputs, but the outcomes. So you want them busy achieving the outcomes, because this is when they're effective and this is when you can hold them accountable. However, if you're over there busy being busy and there's chaos, that makes it really difficult for your people to have that clarity that's so important for them to achieve the outcomes. Yeah. The fourth point is this: boundaries are an essential leadership tool for you. They're really, really important. Why? Well, firstly, they protect your energy. They give you the ability to make decisions. Boundaries will protect your creativity. Boundaries will help to provide clarity for your team. And boundaries are what you need to be using to provide a framework for your leadership. Now, instead of saying yes to every single opportunity to do things, to every single piece of work that people ask you to do, set a boundary. Start to think about, what does this look like for my team? How busy are my team? How effective are my team being already? That's the first thing. So start to think, do I need to take on more work? The second thing is, do you need to go to every single meeting that you've been invited to? And do those meetings need to be as long as those meetings are in your calendar? Potentially not. So start setting boundaries around that. I'll go to meetings where I can be really effective. And the third thing is, make sure that what you're prepared to do is to ask for help. To ask for help, or to ask questions that provide you with the kind of clarity that you're going to need to be able to lead confidently. You're going to need those answers in order to be able to be confident. The fifth point is about embracing the power of thinking time. Now, this is one of those leadership intelligence tools that can be so easily overlooked by us. I know that you're going to be busy doing daily activities and tasks. I know that you're going to be busy as a leader, managing your team, managing your peers, and managing up. But what's really important is that you're deliberate about setting thinking time into your calendar. You need it. You need thinking time about operational issues. You need thinking time about strategic issues. You need thinking time about what's going on right now in front of you, but also about what's going to be happening into the future. It's really important. It's thinking, not just doing. Now, this is on top of the time that I recommend that you have for actually doing things, the tasks that you're responsible for. So they need to be scheduled into your diary as well. And what I love about this thinking time is that it actually creates space for creativity, This is when your great ideas come because you're thinking about things, and it helps you to develop a strategy for whatever is going on so that you can develop your leadership intelligence, develop your leadership tools, and develop your confidence as a leader. Now, all of those things obviously are really important. So let's have a look at some solutions. I've got 3 solutions that you can do right now. The first one is this. These are 3 immediate things which are quite small, but also really powerful. Before we do that, I'm taking a sip of my water. The first one is this. It's what I call the 10% rule. What can you do? What can you do today to reduce your commitments for today by 10%? Now, if what you're thinking is, oh, I don't know about that, then sit today and have a look at tomorrow, and then have a look at the day after that. Because what we want you to do is to be able to deliberately, really deliberately reduce or remove 10% of your commitments. It's a big ask, I know. But what you will find is that if you can do that for a number of weeks quite deliberately, those things will be gone from your calendar. They'll be gone from your commitments. There'll be some standard things. And then on an ongoing basis, look and think, what can I take out of my calendar right now? That's the first one. The second one is this. I want you to think about, wait a second, a minimum of 1 daily reset. Now, this is 3 minutes, just 3 minutes where you can pause so that you can regulate yourself. And a really good thing to do in this time is what's called box breathing. And box breathing will just help to lower your blood pressure, just to get you back balanced again. And if you're feeling stressed or frustrated, it will really bring that down for you. So this would be box breathing is breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, hold for 4. And if you do that over and over just for 3 minutes, you'll find it makes a huge difference to your emotional regulation. Okay. The third one, excuse me again, is checking, is this mine? So it's what I call the is this mine check, because it's too easy as a leader to accept the emotions that others are feeling, the frustrations others are feeling, the tasks that are actually others' responsibilities. So what I want you to do with this is just check to see, what am I actually carrying here, and is it mine? If it's not mine, where can I possibly offload it? And what I find this does is it creates a pretty instant space for you, and it reduces that overwhelm. And I'm sure all of you have been in situations where someone has come along, someone in your team has come along and said, hey, this task here, I'm not exactly sure what I should be doing next. So I thought I'd come and ask you, and you go, oh, okay, yeah, just leave it with me. I'll sort it out and I'll get back to you. Now, what you're doing is you're taking on their task. And ultimately, and we've talked about this a lot in leadershipization, what you're doing is disempowering your team member by doing everything for them, doing their thinking for them. So there are some strategies around how to deal with that. So those 3 things I think will work really well for you. And as I said, they're things that you can implement right now. The 7th topic area is just a reminder of this. Your emotions, your energy actually reflects your team. Your emotions and your energy reflect your team. Your pace sets the emotional tone. And when you're calm, you build trust. People feel safe. They have clarity. Productivity is likely to rise and accountability is there because there's clarity. The thing that lots of us need to learn is that we can actually speed up calmly, because speeding or building on something, building on our skill set, comes because we've got the foundations right. So as a leader who's calm and confident, that makes it a whole lot easier for you to speed up calmly, to respond to periods of high demand. Much easier. So, some reflection questions for you to think about. And these kind of feed into the three tips that I gave you for things that you can do right now to calm that chaos. The first one is this: what tasks or habits drain you the most but matter the least? What tasks or habits drain you the most but matter the least? Now, what I'm talking about here is that 10%. Are there some 10%? Do they fit in that 10% of commitments that maybe you can get rid of? Is there a way that they can be delegated to somebody else? Or can you plan your days so that you're able to really plug into your greatest period of energy when you're doing them? So that's the first one. The second reflection question is this: what small pause or reset can you build into each day for the rest of this week? Like today's Tuesday. You might be watching a replay of this, but have a think for the next 3 or 4 days: what small pause or reset can I build into every single day? Because what we know is that that centers you and it refocuses you, because you're not sitting in this really big overwhelm. And then the final question for you to think about is: how does your pace how does your pace influence the pace of your team? So if you're slow and stuck and paralyzed, probably your team's feeling exactly the same way. And hopefully, as a result of today and hearing what I've had to say, you're now thinking, oh, okay, maybe what I need to do here is be more aware of the impact that my pace has on my team. So, what we see here as a summary, what we've looked at today, is that busy is a warning sign. It's a warning sign, not a benchmark. It's not something to aspire to. It's not something to aspire to. Boundaries and micro resets absolutely change everything. And calm leadership is a real gift that you can give your team. Small shifts, they'll change everything. Those boundaries and those micro resets that we talked about. But that calmness is the most important thing of all. So thank you so much for joining us today. If you've got any questions or comments, pop them on the platform that you're watching this on. If you're watching replay, hashtag replay would be fantastic. Thank you. Now, as I've said to you, we've talked about it a little bit today. Leadership intelligence is a combination of all of the leadership tools that you need. And for me, and for many others, it begins and is woven through and held together with communication skills. So, on a regular basis, I offer my Smarter in 30 Days program, which is all about You saying it smarter, being able to develop rapport and being able to influence your team through a recognition of different age groups, of different styles of communicating, and then building your own knowledge and confidence in those areas. So if you're interested in hearing some more about that, no pressure, not going to hassle you with a hardline sales call. Use the 30-minute call, book a call with me, and you'll see that on the platform that you're watching this on. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye now.